And what were you and your students seeing coming into the tent after the bombings?
Well, what was amazing was the transition. I think it's to see, I think what we saw before and what happened, it was just, that was the things that were hard to process. The sudden mood shifted from runners coming in within minutes, runners with limping and bloody shoes from blisters and so on, to young adults, grandparents, husbands, wives, even children that were just bleeding from different parts of their body and in shock. They were brought in wheelchairs. Some were carried in by the EMS. They actually physically picked them up and carried them in. But a lot of it was, I would just describe it as people being shredded. It was just like their clothes were shredded. They were bleeding from unknown areas. Again, some were able to get up and walk in, some were carried in. The gravely injured were quickly rushed through the tent, like they were on stretchers, and they were immediately taken right to the back of the tent where the ambulance bay was set up and the ambulances were ready to go. The ones that we were seeing were, I'd say, wounds that need to be stabilized. They were people that weren't ready to go to the hospital yet because the others had been taken, or the ones seriously injured, meaning amputation, serious fractures, open fractures, things like that where bleeding wasn't an issue. Where we were seeing were the shrapnel wounds, people that were injured from flying debris, from flying metal from the bomb itself. People in shock, definitely shock. I've never seen shock other than maybe in my training in emergency rooms, but to see that many people with their color drained out of their faces and their eyes glassy. There was another important thing, was to keep talking to people. And that was a little difficult to do because a lot of them had hearing, they couldn't hear. They had either temporarily lost their hearing or had possibly perforated eardrums from the explosion. But that was the main thing, was just to assess people, you had bandages available, and to start treating, get these areas cleaned the best you could.